Let's see, just double check and make sure. Alright, hey everybody, TG here. Let's see if we got audio, make sure that we can hear, because I had to do a fair amount of work to get this thing all up and running. I've got one of these new big ultra-wide monitors, and I just want to make sure that it's all good. So, yeah, let's let me know if we got the audio going here. And then what we can do is we'll also turn this on. We got the camera, and we'll see if we get rocking and rolling. Okay, sounds good. We got all that. Great, appreciate it. it's been a labor of love trying to get this thing up and running and working. I got one of those like really cool super ultra wide monitors. Well, that changes a lot of stuff as far as our broadcasting and having to work with the screens and the overlays and just desktop management. It's kind of different when you take away all the bezels and you just have this one big thing. So thanks again for doing that. So this is profitpilot.com. This is the website for me, and the last time I wrote was how to time a pullback, which we nailed perfectly. And in it, I also talk about how when we do get the pullback, you know, the pullback, okay, fine, you can figure that one out, and then the bounce, we always get a bounce, right? The question is, and the difficult part is, what happens after the bounce? And that's where we are today. So we're going to be doing kind of a deep dive into what the market's looking at right now, so that we can see if there's some sort of issue. Keep in mind also that the FOMC meeting is later today, and that could make some fireworks. So just to understand what's going on out there, and that there are some news events and some forces out there that might be affecting us today and tomorrow, and I guess into the rest of the week. I'm going to be talking a lot about the Moxie indicator. That is how I trade. It's the indicator that I created and that I work with exclusively. And so if you guys are interested in it, if you like the way that I talk about things and how I look at the markets and how I trade, come over here to services, pick up the class, and that's where you can learn how to trade. And then you can get the subscription, which is basically our alert, our stock trading alert service. So, all right, let me make sure everything's good here. We'll get into this, and yeah, we'll be looking at a few things, including Bitcoin for sure. Number one, if we look at the daily chart for the S&P, we basically came up into the 127 extension, and you can see that last week we came right up into it, and then that acted as resistance, you know, a nice magnet and then resistance. And I've been looking at this as basically a pullback, you know, something very orderly, makes sense. The market looked pretty good, very strong. I've seen a lot of good names out there. But then we actually did get the pullback, and the pullback turned out to be a little bit stronger than I thought it was going to be, and it had more effect on some stuff. And so now I'm starting to change my tune a little bit. I'm getting a little bit concerned, a little bit nervous out there. I think that there might be a little bit more of a pullback coming, and you know, we're just gonna have to wait. If I'm wrong about that, if we do keep kind of going up, well, then there are also some different things that I want to see to change my mind. So let's kind of review that, and I'll show you also how I saw the pullback coming. I saw it more clearly on the NASDAQ, so we'll do that. But if you look at the SPY, we had the price keep going up like that. And notice that the Moxie indicator kept trending down and down and down. And we actually peaked on a Wednesday, but on Tuesday, we had the live Moxie trading for the subscribers of the Moxie room. And on Tuesday, I said, guys, this is also making me concerned. This is an inverse trampoline move on the 15-minute time frame. And I said, we keep pushing on these other time frames, so this might actually mean something. We need to really be careful with it. And that was on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is when we got that rollover. So nailed that one perfectly. The other thing we could see is on the hourly chart, we kept getting price moving up, up, up. Look at the Moxie indicator. See how it was kind of dead, not doing much, and kind of just trending down? Yeah, that was an issue. And then we also had a big gap between price and the hourly 50. So I was looking at a lot of that. And if we go over to the QQQ, the 15-minute was super obvious, and you can see I actually put an arrow up there, but notice that price kept moving up and up and up. Notice that the Moxie indicator was just staying below zero. That is what I call negative divergence, and that is telling me that energy and momentum, the indicator is underneath zero in negative space, even though price keeps going up and up and up along the 15-minute 50. So yeah, clearly an issue there. We get that pullback. Pullback makes sense. Then we get a bounce. The bounce also makes sense. Right here, I mean, so far we've bounced right off of the daily 21. But now is the issue of what I'm seeing that has me a little bit concerned. This move up seems strange. We've kind of bounced into the 15-minute 50. We just keep pushing up here. We are at a previous high, so that's always a concern. And then we are also at the third ATR on the hourly chart, and the Moxie indicator is still below 0 and lagging. So this is what I call an inverse trampoline move. Price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. And this can have some ramifications. So we could get some sort of pullback based on this. Now, as I said earlier, if I'm wrong, what I would like to then see is I want to see price continue to engage with the 15-minute 50. I want to see price come down, find support, something like that. And then I want to see price eventually find support at the hourly 50 and use that to move up. So I'm not totally convinced yet because we have not really seen price engage with these moving averages yet. And so I'm just a little bit cautious and looking out for that. On the SPY, we can see that in this case, the inverse trampoline move is actually a little bit more pronounced. Price has not engaged with the hourly 50 yet. The Moxie indicator is pretty far below 0. And other than yesterday, which seems to kind of not the most structurally sound here, price has not engaged with the 15-minute 50. You can see right now we still have a very large gap between price and the 15-minute 50, and so that has me a little bit concerned. And if we look at the IWM, we can see that this thing has just been an absolute beast, which is great, but we're kind of bumping up against extremes again. You know, third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, third ATR, and each time, granted, they've been small pullbacks, but they have been pullbacks, and so I'm looking at that again. And if we look at the, we can see here on the hourly chart, the Moxie indicator just keeps trending down, even though price kind of keeps trending up. And I use this as a timing mechanism, basically a gas in a tank. If we think of gasoline in a car tank, we're kind of running on empty. There's not a whole lot of energy left, according to the Moxie indicator, for price to keep moving up. And if we kind of look here, and we look at these couple of things, let me get all that situated. We can see price up here at the third ATR, again at the third ATR, and then we have price kind of off the 15-minute 50, and you can see last time that it's been having some troubles when there's a gap between price and the 15-minute 50. So I'm seeing some issues out here. And then if we also look at, say, the VIX, because we kind of use this to tell us a little bit more about if people are hedging, if there's anything coming in here. Here was a regular trampoline move. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0 is a trampoline move, and that's why I love the indicator so much, because we could see this thing coming, even though, and I think I warned this when last time we were live, because the VIX and the UVXY were falling down, and I said, don't get suckered in by that. I said a lot of times we actually see the VIX roll over just before it then shoots up, and that's exactly what happened here. And I think we were talking about it at the time because the market did roll over on a Wednesday, and I have my live sessions here on Wednesdays. So you can see that the Moxie indicator kept trending up even though price was going down, and then did a trampoline move right there. So then this move up into the hourly 200, yeah, okay, I could see that was going to get rejected. It seems like a typical moving average that price just isn't going to be able to get past on the first time. And then I also call this the arch of the foot on the daily chart. So again, if you guys are kind of familiar with my teachings and how I talk about stuff and the patterns and shapes, that's the arch of the foot. So I was looking for price to pull back. I don't trade the VIX much, so I don't know how deep this pullback might be, and it doesn't have to be. But what I'm looking at next, that we need to really be concerned about and cautious, is what if this kind of holds here and then starts to move up again? What if price either holds the hourly 50 and moves up, or if we do get another dip down, what if it comes up like this and this is yet another trampoline move? What if that's what we get? So we need to be on the lookout for that. If we look at UVXY, same kind of deal. You can see that here's your leg, here's your heel, here's the arch of your foot. We might be getting the ball of the foot right here, and what happens if we get that elf toe? And right here, same thing. Price got rejected by the 200 generally. But what if it starts to find support here? Or what if price kind of dips down below and then comes back up for yet another trampoline move? You can see that the Moxie indicator is fairly high. So any kind of dip here, what if it starts to go like that? These are things to be aware of and to just incorporate in your trading, to not be surprised if something happens, because we're starting to see some signals out here and around here. All right, let's kind of go back around and see what you guys are asking about. Yeah, Bitcoin, GBTC. We've been seeing Bitcoin actually on a tear, and I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the devaluation of the dollar. The fact that we have printed so much money, maybe people are actually looking for alternative currencies. This one has clearly been doing well. Right here, I can't actually go in up here. That's a pretty big extension. Like, just not an area that I want to go in on. So I'll have to see. And then, kind of come in these coming days. This was actually pretty impressive. I didn't catch this right away, but price is bouncing off the 15-minute 50. We've got a big move up today. I'd like to look for any kind of pullback to see if we can get in again in a more serious way. Along with that, Riot has been doing well. Mara has been doing well, and a lot of these other kind of Bitcoin names also. This one was a bit of a sneaker, and you can see here price kept following the 15-minute 50, and actually the Moxie indicator was looking pretty good. So yeah, I'll have to look at finding a better way to get in on these. So any kind of pullback would be great on that. And you can see that there was actually quite a bit of volume coming back into Riot. Mara was looking good. And yeah, so Bitcoin is definitely on the way. All right, let's kind of take a look and see what you guys are looking at. We'll then say Workhorse WKHS. The EV space, it does seem like it is trying to gear up again, but it's not quite ready. What you can see here, this is what I call an inverse trampoline move. So price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. So not quite ready to go yet, and you can see here price has not held the 15-minute 50. So right there today when it broke off the 15-minute 50, I definitely would have been out if I were in it. But more so, I would have been looking at this and said, hey, the Moxie indicator on the hourly chart is just not ready. So I don't see anything there yet. Workhorse going to have to wait. WDAY, let's see what's going on with that one. Okay, this one, let me see if I can do this with the new screens. Let's see if I can slide this over. And yep, that looks like that's going to show. Okay, good. So WDAY and a lot of these other big cap tech names that we're seeing, the ones that kind of trade alongside the NASDAQ, really what I've been seeing is if you look on a higher time frame chart, they've basically been flagging sideways into support on the monthly time frame. So go look at that on any of your tickers that you're looking at. You can see some support here at the weekly chart as well. And really, if we just kind of look at this, they've just been flagging sideways. Now, I'd like to think that they should be getting a move on soon. They are having a good day today, but I'm really just kind of nervous about whatever's going on with the FOMC. I'd just like to wait until after the FOMC, just in case any fireworks come out of that. But yeah, we're starting to see some activities here, and if we look closely on the hourly chart, this is really the first time that price has crossed the hourly 50. Kind of just like this, first time that price has crossed the hourly 50. I personally like to wait until I actually see price test some of these moving averages. And right now, WDAY, while it's having a good day, has not tested these things. So let me show you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to, hold the 15-minute 50. Right now, hasn't done that yet. And then maybe something like this, I'd like to see price bounce off of the hourly 50. Hasn't done that yet. So I'm still going to give this a little bit more time, just to kind of keep figuring itself out. I'm very cool buying pullbacks, and so I think we've got time on this. All right, VSTM. So let's see what this one is. Well, first of all, VSTM looks pretty extended. I mean, this thing was really, really up there, and it has been riding off of the hourly 50. I mean, it was just up there. And you can see the same thing. So if you were there earlier when I was talking about the NASDAQ and how I saw that pullback, look here on the 15-minute time frame. You see how price kept moving up and up and up, and you see how the Moxie indicator was starting to go below 0 and hang out and operate below there for quite some time. That should have been giving you a pretty good heads up that this thing was starting to run out of steam and likely to pull back. So the 15-minute Moxie indicator gave you a pretty good opportunity, insight like that. And then really I could just see on the hourly chart that this was very extended. Even on the daily, this thing was out, running outside of its daily third ATR for a long time. So it was inevitable that a pullback was going to occur. Going forward, well, it seems like you just need to wait. So I'd like to say that the daily chart looks fine, but we don't know where they're going to go. And I personally, whenever I get a move like this, I just get out and I get back in whenever it looks good again. So I don't know where pullbacks are going to go. I don't know how deep or how far pullbacks are going to go. That's kind of why it's just like, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. And I don't know when to get back in until I actually see the right entry that I'm looking for. So right now, let's see where this pullback goes, and if it stays within your trading parameters, and then we'll look back again when it starts to set up again. And then just as a reminder, I'll kind of pull this up here since again I was talking about the Moxie indicator and how on VSTM it was actually showing a really good exit on the 15 that you should be heads up and warning about that. If you guys are interested, profitpilot.com, come over here. You got the class for the Moxie stock method, teaches you everything I know about trading and with the indicator, and then also you can pick up the indicator there if you want. So let's see. Hey Teresa, good to see you. Imran, good to see you as well. And yeah, Joyride. Let's see, Sono, because we did that one last week. Yeah, last week I was writing through here. I said, well, be careful, because it looks like it's kind of extended. You could see that it was really extended here on the daily chart. And so this actually is similar to what I'm trying to say about VSTM. You see how on VSTM and Sono, you see how price was just really up there. It's pretty big. There's a big distance between the 8 and 21 and all that. Well, price so far has just pulled back to the daily 21. Great. We could see that. And there was a level, and you can see there's a level, and the Moxie indicator was turning up, and it started to, ride the 15-minute 50 and move up. But we're not out of the woods yet, because just like the market, Sono is in an inverse trampoline move, a potential one. Price over the 50, the Moxie indicator below 0. That could be an issue. So be careful with this. It may not work out. It might want to roll over. It might need to pull back some more. But this is making me concerned until I kind of see price engage with the hourly 50 or something like this. There's always the potential for this to be a double top, or just kind of trend and go sideways and go nowhere for a while. So I'm just not super keen on that one right now. FLGT. Let's see what's going on with this one. Okay, it's got decent volume. It's a little bit choppy of a stock. Not exactly something I'd want to trade because it is just so choppy. It doesn't seem to care about any kind of moving averages. Right here you can see price got underneath the 15-minute 50, so that's what pulled price down. And other than that, I don't see anything on the hourly chart. Maybe price is going to hold the hourly 200. There's not much there. Price is still underneath the 15-minute 50. The Moxie indicator is still very much below 0. The daily chart's looking okay. You've got price over the daily 50, and you have the 8 over the 21. So I'd mostly be calling this a flag or just price chopping around going sideways until it gets going, but it doesn't look like the greatest stock that I'd like to tackle. Skylar Gilead, that's probably going to be a nothing. Yeah, GILD, nothing there. I don't want to be touching that. They haven't been going anywhere for a long time except when they got some of that COVID news, but you can see right here price got rejected by the daily 50, and since then it's been underneath these moving averages and just trending down. So yeah, nothing there. Let's see. DDD. Yeah, I know these have been on a tear for a while. A bit of a surprise. These things have been, the 3D systems have just been dormant for quite some time. What I will say though, I like to trade after earnings, but here was the Moxie price trigger, and there is where price bounced off of the hourly 50. That is the kind of trade that I like to take with the Moxie indicator. Then we had just a little bit more of a trampoline move, price below the 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0. And so, yeah, this is looking fine. Just be careful that this might be getting a little funky, a little stretched. You can see that price is still again at the third ATR, and price has not actually engaged with the hourly 50 yet, and I'm slightly concerned that you've had price move up for the last couple of days, but the Moxie indicator continues to kind of decline. Let me then look at the... Okay, here's the bigger issue. Look at DDD, and look at it on the monthly and the weekly. This could be your issue. You're running right into the underside of the monthly 50, and right into the underside of the weekly 200. So... that might be an issue. They might hit their heads on that. Okay, make sure you always look at other time frames other than what you see here. Just because just because on one time it looks great doesn't mean that you're not running into a brick wall on another time frame. All right, SRNE. Nope, nothing there. Yep. Gonna have to wait on this one. You can see price continues to get rejected by the daily 50, and it got underneath the 15-minute 50. It's still underneath the 15-minute 50. Moxie indicators there, and I see nothing on the hourly chart. So, it might come around at some point, but for right now, I just don't see anything. So keep it on your watch list. Wait for something to shape up again, but yeah, nothing going on with that one. And ACB, yeah, the cannabis stuff. So cannabis has got a lot of activity, a lot of action the last night because there was news about Tilray and APHA merger, and so that kind of got the cannabis sector moving up. And I made a post. I said there's kind of an issue here that there's a battle going on between the hourly 200 and the hourly 50. You guys see how price and a lot of the cannabis names are looking like this. A lot of them are kind of ping-ponging right back and forth between this, and I don't quite know which way it's going to go. There's a battle here. We could see that either price is going to hold the 15-minute 50 and move up, or this is actually maybe the hourly chart's going to be stronger. This is technically an inverse trampoline move on the hourly chart. Price should not be over the 50 if the indicator is below 0. And it could be running up into a downtrending hourly 50. Push-pull. This stuff, the cannabis sector, is pretty tough to figure out right now because even Cron, if you look here, same thing. It's bouncing off of the hourly 200, but then it's running right smack into the hourly 50. Which one's going to win? It's tough to say. Real tough to say. We're just going to have to take a little bit of time to figure it out. Make sure that you're okay with whatever way price goes, and if it doesn't go your way, have your exit strategy figured out. But yeah, cannabis, right, stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. Oh, just good to see you. FEAC, huh? Let's see what's going on with this. Okay, good volume, and I see it's in a potential trampoline move right here. Price below the 50, the Moxie indicator above 0. But we haven't quite figured itself out on the 15-minute. You can see here price is still underneath the 15-minute 50. The Moxie indicator is still kind of mixed up and jumbled and not doing much here. So I don't see an entry yet. I just see the potential. And if you look here on the hourly, again, potential, but this could be potentially a elf shoe. Here's your leg, here's your heel. This would be the arch of the foot. And so we kind of need to wait for the ball of the foot to play out and see if it goes up or to see if it continues to roll down. So we are right in the middle of this kind of pattern and whatnot. And so I'd say if you're going to trade it, be prepared for it to not work out right now. And honestly, I just don't see an entry yet. So just keep holding off on something like this. Big picture, sure, the daily chart looks good. You still have a very, very wide 8 and 21. Maybe price is going to come down to the 21 and bounce, but can you handle having price go down to there? Let's see, get my tools. Can you handle from this point having price go down another 10%? That's going to have to be your decision and where you want to go with that. All right, then let's see, Beam. Let's kind of take a look. Same thing, guys. Yeah, look at this thing. Huge run up. Just a massive, massive run up. At some point, this thing's going to run out of steam. You could see this thing was horrendously overbought. Like, look how far that thing was. It never touched the hourly 50. And actually, look at this. Yesterday, looks like yesterday, price got stuck and rejected by the underside of the 15-minute 50. It's small, and you guys have to be aware of this stuff, but there it is. You could see clearly on the daily, on the hourly, this thing was overbought. And so you're just saying, well, at some point, this thing's going to want to pull back. It's going to stop going up, and you got to find out exactly when that is. And right there, with the Moxie indicator below 0, that was your signal. So yeah, essentially this thing's pulling back. A lot of these things are just kind of pulling back. I'm seeing this, and you're going to have to decide what you want to do because they could keep pulling back. When they move like this, I don't have any signal other than they're in a pullback. So I can't say how far they're going to go. I don't know how long they're going to last. All I can tell you is that they are pulling back right now, and they could go further, longer, for whatever. And until I see a new entry, I can't give any guidance on something like that. All right, then let's see. DBX. Yeah, Dropbox. So yeah, big move. Careful with it because again, it's very extended. I mean, this thing is way up here. There's a big gap between price and the hourly 50. Great as long as it can kind of follow some of these moving averages on the lower time frame, kind of like what it's been doing on the 15. Great. But just keep in mind, it's getting kind of up there, and we'll have to see how long you can ride this thing. So good move. I was watching this thing for a long time, and it was just so crappy in through here, just like not doing anything. Then finally, big move right there. Another one to kind of keep an eye on, Box. Box was having a pretty good day. I got a trigger on this one yesterday, so this came up on my scan. So guys, if you are interested in how do I find these names or how do I hear about this, this is how I hear about it. I have a scan for the Moxie, and it's available on the Profit Pilot website. But that showed up on my scan yesterday. I was like, that actually looks pretty good because what did price do? And you can see here on the 15, it actually bounced right off of the 15-minute 50, and the Moxie indicator was very much above zero. So that was a good trade, but I'm just kind of pulling back on a few things. I'm not super interested in kind of like trying stuff because we have the FOMC today, and I'm just kind of being careful right now. So I didn't want to take that one, but it's on my list now. All right, hey Fiona, good to see you. Let's see. Disney. Kind of looks a lot like DBX, like Dropbox, just up, and then pop. I like the trend overall. It's fine. But just understand that it's probably going to want to pull back. Just like, hey, that was a really good move back there, but what did it do? It wanted to pull back. So don't be surprised if this thing wants to pull back. So what I'm saying is you probably don't want to enter up here. Even though it's a good move and all that kind of stuff, you don't want to enter. And if you've got a short dated option, or if you don't want to handle a pullback or something like that, it's probably a good time just to take some off if you're in this position, because that's a good gift right there. And then what you want to see is at some point price will most likely pull back at least to the hourly 50. There's no telling if it'll go further, but at least to the hourly 50. That's another good buy point, something like that. But yeah, it's clearly an uptrend, but boy, it's getting a little extended up there. All right, let's MRMD. Kind of sounds like mermaid. MRMD. Let's see what that one is. And let me double check. Just always make sure that you guys have ones with good volume. This one seems to be acceptable. I always want something that has over 500,000 shares. And yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with the cannabis stuff. Like, here's some support at the hourly 200, but here is some resistance of price running right into the underside of a downtrending hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator below zero, and it could also be running into some resistance here at the 15-minute 200. So kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one. I'd be careful. I'm not totally set on it yet. This is why I like to wait until price can actually get on top of or test the hourly 50 in an uptrend. And right now you're running right smack dab into the underside of a downtrending hourly 50. So yeah, I'd careful with this one. It's about all I can say on that. And then yeah, you guys are busy today. I'm pretty much out of time. I got a lot of things that I have to do today. Wednesdays are usually my busy days. Thank you, Thunderfriend. MRMD is a cannabis stock. Same thing. Look at this. It looks exactly like cannabis, just like ACB and Cron and CGC. They're kind of at a tough point. So be prepared for some movement if you need to. And it's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I don't have a clear picture for them yet. It's like, what are they going to do with that moving average? So, all right, guys. Well, I got to get going for now. We'll catch you next week. And again, if you guys are interested, just come over here to profitpilot.com. That's where you can read this newsletter that I had about timing to pull back. Maybe I'll talk about the FOMC on this next one. We'll see how it goes. All right, everyone, you take care. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Good to see you. And I think we catch each other next Wednesday, right? Yeah, we're still going to be open for business on next Wednesday. And until then, we'll catch you later and enjoy the rest of the week.